Hey everybody! Today we're going to be reading chapter 20 of Judges. This is the second to last chapter in the book of Judges. And then we'll be moving on to Ruth. After I get done reading scripture, I'm going to explain what I think about it, how I feel about it. And I'm not an expert in scripture at all, so please do not lean on my understanding, but trust in the Lord for understanding and for guidance. And if I apologize if I mispronounce any names, places, people, words, anything like that. I do apologize. I'm reading from my Bible. Excuse me. It's the New Living Translation for those who want to follow along. And without further ado, let's get started. Then all the Israelites were united as one man, from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, including those from across the Jordan in the land of Gilead. The entire community assembled in the presence of the Lord at Mizpah. The leaders of all the people and all the tribes of Israel, 400,000 warriors armed with swords, took their positions in the assembly of the people of God. Word soon reached the land of Benjamin that the other tribes had gone up to Mizpah. The Israelites then asked how this terrible crime had happened. The Levite, the husband of the woman who had been murdered, said, "My concubine and I came to spend the night in Gibeah, a town that belongs to the people of Benjamin. That night, some of the leading citizens in Gibeah surrounded the house, planning to kill me, and they raped my concubine until she was dead. So I cut her body into 12 pieces and sent the pieces throughout the territory assigned to Israel, for these men have committed a terrible and shameful crime. Now then, all of you, the entire community of Israel, must decide here and now what should be done about this." And all the people rose to their feet in unison and declared, "None of us will return home. Not even one of us. Instead, this is what we will do to Gibeah. We will draw lots to decide who will attack it. 1/10 of the men from each tribe will be chosen to supply the warriors with food, and the rest of us will take revenge on Gibeah of Benjamin for this shameful thing they have done in Israel." So all the Israelites were completely united, and they gathered together to attack the town. The Israelites sent messengers to the tribe of Benjamin, saying, "What a terrible thing has been done among you. Give up those evil men, those troublemakers from Gibeah, so we can execute them and purge Israel of this evil." But the people of Benjamin would not listen. Instead, they came from their towns and gathered at Gibeah to fight the Israelites. In all, 26,000 of their warriors armed with swords arrived in Gibeah to join the 700 elite troops who lived there. Among Benjamin's elite troops, 700 were left-handed, and each of them could sling a rock and hit a target within a hair's breadth. What? Yeah. Basically, and each of them could sling a rock and hit a target without missing. Israel had 400,000 experienced warriors armed with swords, not counting Benjamin's warriors. Before the battle, the Israelites went to Bethel and asked God which tribe should go first to attack the people of Benjamin. The Lord answered, "Judah is to go first." So the Israelites left early the next morning and camped near Gibeah. Then they advanced towards Gibeah to attack the men of Benjamin. But Benjamin's warriors, who were defeated in the town, came out and killed 22,000 Israelites on the battlefield that day. But the Israelites encouraged each other and took their positions again at the same place they had fought the previous day. For they had gone up to Bethel and wept in the presence of the Lord until evening. They had asked the Lord, should we fight against our relatives for Benjamin? Should we fight against our relatives from Benjamin again? And the Lord had said, go out and fight against them. So the next day they went out again to fight against the men of Benjamin, but the men of Benjamin killed another 18,000 Israelites, all of whom were experienced with the sword. Then all the Israelites went up to Bethel and wept in the presence of the Lord and fasted until evening. They also brought burnt offerings and peace offerings to the Lord. The Israelites went up seeking direction from the Lord. In those days the ark of the covenant of God was in Bethel, and Phinehas, son of Eleazar and grandson of Aaron, was the priest. The Israelites asked the Lord, should we fight against our relatives from Benjamin again, or should we stop? Sorry. The Lord said, go, tomorrow I will hand them over to you. So the Israelites set an ambush all around Gibeah. They went out on the third day and took their positions at the same place as before. When the men of Benjamin came out to attack, they were drawn away from the town. And as they had done before, they began to kill the Israelites. About 30 Israelites died in the open fields and along the roads, one leading to Bethel and the other leading back to Gibeah. Then the warriors of Benjamin shouted, we're defeating them as we did before. But the Israelites had planned in advance to run away so that the men of Benjamin would chase them along the roads and be drawn away from the town. When the main group of Israelite warriors reached Baal Tamar, my bad, hold on. When the main group of Israelite warriors reached Baal Tamar, they returned and took up their positions. Meanwhile, the Israelites hid in ambush to the west of Gibeah, jumped up to fight. They were 10,000 elite Israelite troops who advanced against Gibeah. The fighting was so heavy that Benjamin didn't realize the impending disaster. So the Lord helped Israel defeat Benjamin, and that day the Israelites killed 25,100 of Benjamin's warriors, all of whom were experienced swordsmen. Then the men of Benjamin saw that they were beaten. The Israelites had retreated from Benjamin's warriors in order to give those hiding in ambush more room to maneuver against Gibeah. Then those who were hiding rushed in from all sides and killed everyone in the town. They had arranged to send up a large cloud of smoke from the town as a signal. When the Israelites saw the smoke, they turned and attacked Benjamin's warriors. By that time, Benjamin's warriors had killed about 30 Israelites, and they shouted, we're defeating them as we did in the first battle. But when the warriors of Benjamin looked behind them and saw smoke rising into the sky from every part of the town, the men of Israel turned and attacked. At this point, the men of Benjamin became terrified because they realized disaster was close at hand. So they turned around and fled before the Israelites towards the wilderness. But they couldn't escape the battle, and the people who came out of the nearby towns were also killed. The Israelites surrounded the men of Benjamin and chased them relentlessly, finally overtaking them east of Gibeah. That day, 18,000 of Benjamin's strongest warriors died in battle. The survivors fled into the wilderness towards the rock of Rimmon, but Israel killed 5,000 of them along the road. They continued to chase until they had killed another 2,000 near Gidom. So that day, the tribe of Benjamin lost 25,000 strong warriors armed with swords, leaving only 600 men who escaped to the rocks of Rimmon, where they lived for 4 months. And the Israelites returned and slaughtered every living thing in all the towns, the people, the livestock, and everything they found. They also burned down all the towns they came to. Thus ends the reading of chapter 20 of Judges. So y'all know we already got to talk about this lion Levite, the husband of the concubine who was literally raped and murdered and stuff. Like, you already know we gotta talk about how he just gonna lie to these people's face. Okay, so he started talking at verse 4, right? I'm finna reread it again, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna reread it again. It was from verse 4 all the way to verse 8. So, the Levite, the husband of the woman who had been murdered, said, "My concubine and I came to spend the night in Gibeah, a town that belongs to the people of Benjamin." All right, so far he's telling the truth. Okay. Verse 5. That night, some of the leading citizens of Gibeah surrounded the house, planning to kill me. Wrong. They was not planning to kill you. They wanted to rape you. They wanted to have sex with you. That's what they wanted. They wasn't trying to kill you. Okay. All right, so he lied about that, obviously, because, and then it says, and they raped my concubine until she was dead. Okay. You left out the part about you literally giving your concubine to them for them to rape her. Like you left out all of the unjust stuff that you did. You trying to make it seem like these men just, was trying to kill you and take your wife or whatever. Like you left all of that out. Like, how did you manage to escape these men and everything and not get killed, but your wife got raped and murdered, though? It don't make no sense. Anyway. And then we don't even know if she died. We don't know if she died at on the threshing floor and stuff, after she was raped and made it back home. We don't know if she died on the threshing floor in front of the door of the house. Like, we don't know if she died. She could have been unconscious, and you just and you didn't even care enough about her to even check and see if she was alive, or not. Like, we don't know if she died right then and there. She could have been unconscious, still alive. She could have survived that incident, but just been so tired that she blacked out, unconscious, that she passed out. But we don't even know, because you didn't care enough to check to see if she was alive, and you just cut her up into pieces. And, so verse 6, it says, "So I cut her body into 12 pieces and sent the pieces throughout the territory assigned to Israel, for the men have committed a terrible and shameful crime. Now then, all of you, the entire community of Israel, must decide here and now what should be done about this." So basically, this Levite over here just lying to people's face. Like, it's just so messed up. Like, like, the most of what he said was true and everything, but I mean, he left out key important parts that literally would have changed the way the way the men of Israel honestly would have decided to handle this. Like I'm pretty sure if the men had known that it was him, the Levite, that was sought after by these men, and that they wanted to have sex with him, but in order to save himself, he gave his he literally threw, his concubine to them in order for her to be raped in his stead. Like, I'm pretty sure that they would have killed him too, probably. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would, that's what I would hope, because, like, that's messed up. But yeah, I just had to talk about how this man gonna lie to their face like that. But okay, whatever. And then, knowing him, he probably killed her, in all honesty. She probably passed. Well, I would like to think that she just passed out from what happened, Either way, it's messed up. The way in which she died was messed up. Whether you raped to death or whether you, got raped and managed to survive, but then your husband, I don't know, kill you or whatever. Like either way, it's messed up. It's messed up either way. It's messed up either way. But I'm glad that all of the men of Israel, all of the tribes of Israel got together in order to fight Benjamin, in order to wipe out the wicked men that did this, and in order to avenge, this woman who died like that. Because, last time something like this happened, it was a Sodom and Gomorrah thing, and the Lord wiped them out, So this time, all of the other tribes of Israel gathered together in order to deal with Benjamin, And this time, it's hilarious how they gonna consult the Lord this time and ask which tribe should go first, in order to attack the people of Benjamin. Y'all could have been consulting the Lord in everything that y'all did, But then that got me thinking about how even today, like, we do that. Like, today, in today's time, we'll literally, like, just make decisions without consulting the Lord. Like, in all honesty, I think about, the things that I did today, the things that I did today. I didn't ask the Lord whether or not I should do the things that I did today. I just kind of did it. Well, I didn't kind of did it. I just did it, And I didn't consult with him and ask him whether or not I should do those things today. Like, I got my whole week planned on what homework I'm going to do for college and stuff like that, what projects I'm going to work on, when I'm going to go do this, when I'm going to go do that, and I haven't even consulted, the Lord about any of that. So, it's like we all do that. We all do that. But yeah, we got to do better. But I am glad that they fought Benjamin and won. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about, was how this dude was over here lying. And then how the Israelites over here claiming that they ain't got no king, but then want to call upon the Lord whenever, they need help. Or, something like that. Like, they only call upon him. They only remember the Lord when it's convenient for them. Like, they don't involve him in their everyday life and stuff. They just, it bothers me. It reminds me of how we only call upon the Lord when we struggling, when we suffering, when we going through something. But if we are, living good and everything and prosperous and everything's all okay and stuff like that, then it's like we don't call upon him. But as soon as we struggling or we need something or whatever, then we want to call on the Lord. Like, no, we need to call upon the Lord all the time. If we prospering and everything, we need to give him gratitude and thanks and praise and stuff and worship him, for for the good times, you know. And we still need to involve him inside of our decision making and stuff, because I mean, we need to be following his plan, not our plan. But you know, people only want to call upon him when you're suffering. And yeah, I'm getting on myself too about it, cause like, you know, I feel like I need to talk to him more. It's real easy to talk to him when you're going through something, but like, you know, you also got to talk to him when you are, you know, not going through nothing, when you prospering and when everything is fine. Like, you got to talk to him then too. So, but yeah, I'm glad that they dealt with I'm glad that they dealt with the tribe of Benjamin, because it needed to be done. It needed to be done. But anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. Thank y'all so much for listening. I love you. Jesus loves you, and have a blessed day. Bye.